It's been 29 years since the first Mission Impossible movie came out, earning $180 million at the box office and spawning possibly the greatest action franchise in history. And today, it came to an end with Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, the 8th and supposedly the final film in the franchise. But how does it compare to its predecessors, and is it a worthy finale for such an amazing franchise? The film picks up from the end of the 7th movie, with Ethan Hunt working with his team to locate the Sevastopol submarine, which contains the source code of the all-powerful entity, as the AI itself begins to assume control of global nuclear systems, with just 96 hours left before it controls all the nuclear weapons in the world. Meanwhile, the US government works to track Ethan down and retrieve the cruciform key in his possession to claim the entity's source code for themselves, attempting to stop the collapse of global cyberspace that would occur if the entity is killed. Meanwhile, Ethan's shadowy nemesis Gabriel, who was previously working with the entity to foil Ethan's plans, has been disowned by the AI after his failure to retrieve the cruciform key on the train at the close of the 7th film. Consumed by fury, he now seeks to control the entity instead, stealing the poison pill crafted by Luther that is vital to stopping the entity and killing him, so that another one cannot be made. Following Luther's death, Ethan turns himself in to the US government, attempting to convince high-ranking officials to provide him with transportation to the Sevastopol. Meanwhile, Benji, Grace, Paris, and Theodagus travel to St. Matthew's Island, home to a naval sonar array that can give them the coordinates of the Sevastopol. However, they are ambushed by Russian soldiers who are seeking control of the entity for themselves. They eventually overpower the soldiers and send the coordinates to Ethan, who commandeers the submarine and dives into the Sevastopol. After narrowly escaping drowning and decompression sickness, the team make their way to South Africa, to a doomsday bunker where Gabriel lies waiting. He demands the source code, but they are ambushed by the CIA, though not before Gabriel starts a 20-minute timer for a plutonium bomb. As CIA Director Kittredge attempts to understand the situation, Gabriel escapes and Ethan gives chase while his team enter the bunker. As Ethan dangles from a biplane in the sky attempting to retrieve the poison pill, Grace, Paris, and Benji prepare to capture the entity. With just seconds before the entity releases nuclear weapons to wipe out the entire human race, Ethan attaches the poison pill to the entity's source code and traps it within a physical drive, cutting off its control to cyberspace and saving the world. The latter half of the movie is as action-packed as ever, with an intense underwater sequence preceded by some tense hand-to-hand combat. The movie concludes in typical bombastic fashion, with the world just milliseconds away from disaster, and the emotional beats, particularly Luther's death, hit harder than ever. There are also a few references to the first film, with Agent Jasper Briggs revealed to be the son of Jim Phelps, Ethan's traitorous team leader from the first film, and the disgraced CIA analyst William Donlow was exiled to St. Matthew's Island after Ethan's break into the CIA headquarters, providing the coordinates of the Sevastopol to Ethan. These links help bring the franchise together, but aren't so crucial to the story that you feel you need to rewatch the first film to understand them. Unfortunately, the movie isn't perfect. At 2 hours and 50 minutes, it's the longest Mission movie yet, and though I felt that the movie was engaging throughout its runtime, many people felt that the first hour of the movie was too exposition heavy and slow. It also squanders some great opportunities. For example, Ethan's theft of a biological weapon in the third film is revealed to have been vital to the creation of the entity, making Ethan directly responsible for all of its damage. However, this detail is mentioned and then never referenced again for the entire film, despite the fact that it could create a huge inner conflict for Ethan due to his guilt about feeling responsible for all the chaos currently occurring and his desire to protect his friends above all else. As well as this, the build-up to Gabriel and Ethan's history in the 7th film is never really expanded on, meaning that he ends up becoming a rather one-dimensional and boring villain. Mission Impossible 8 is certainly a film worth watching in cinemas for the phenomenal second half alone, though you may find yourself impatiently waiting for that second half to begin. But is it a worthy conclusion? Without a doubt, this film is a step down from its predecessors, which kept you thrilled for every millisecond, while this film takes a bit more time to get around to the high-octane action. But that time is well spent, and a swan song to one of the most iconic characters and franchises in action film history.